news and notes.
I really wish you wouldn't get down on yourself, my man. You know, it happens.
Well,
You know,
I know. It stinks, when that happens like that. I feel like the only 2 or 3 times that's happened on the show that, in the history of the Oblivion Bar was 2 of them were during creator interviews. It was Philip Kennedy Johnson and then Christian Ward where things messed up like that. Yep.
Newsflash, you're fine, my man, and we all love you.
Thank you. Our news and notes this week is sponsored by Shortbox, the easiest and safest way to buy and sell graded comics. You can download the Shortbox app on iOS and Android devices and use our code OBP15 at checkout for $15 off your first order. That is OBP15 at checkout. And thank you so much to Shortbox for sponsoring this news and notes.
If anything, just go over to the app, download it, and then scroll down, and you'll see our sexy faces on there. And just click, and you can hear the news and notes anytime you want.
That's right. Off the top here, we got our very first teaser trailer for Amazon's Paper Girls. So the series is being adapted from Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang's comic book series that ran for 30 issues from 2015 to 2019 of the same name. The series synopsis reads, it's the day after Halloween in 1988 when 4 young girls accidentally stumble into an intense time war and find themselves inexplicably transported to the year 2019. When they come face to face with their adult selves, each girl discovers her own strengths as together they try to find a way back to the past while saving the world in the future. So I don't know how many people have read Paper Girls. It's obviously a Brian K. Vaughan joint, therefore I have and I love it. Cliff Chang's art is incredible in this. And I think Cliff Chang is actually even a producer on this show, which is super awesome. And Amazon, they've been doing great things. Honestly, I know we all like to kind of shit on Jeff Bezos as much as we can, and rightfully so. But at the same time, their film division, their series, I guess that would be called the Amazon Prime film division is just doing great things. So hopefully this goes well.
So Paper Girls stars Sophia Rosinski, Cameron Jones, Riley Nillette, and Fina Straza. With Ali Wong, who she's hilarious. If you ever watch her, like she does stand up, she is hilarious. And Nate Cordroy. They'll be playing our heroes Mac, KJ, Tiffany, and Aaron. Oh, that's right. The girl's name. The series showrunner is Stephanie Folsom.
She was the writer on Toy Story 4, Star Wars Resistance, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Is that animated, or I've never heard of that? Are you familiar with Rings of Power? Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power?
I believe that's the new one that's coming out. That's the live action Amazon show that hasn't started yet.
Interesting. Okay. All right, cool. Well, that's cool. I wasn't familiar with that until just now. And it will release on Amazon Prime starting July 29th this year. So we don't have to wait long, just a little under a month now. We're into July now. So my excitement for this is pretty high. I really like Paper Girls. It's a fun read. If you're a fan of Stranger Things, I know you're going to hear that probably about 100 times before the series actually comes out. But if you are a fan of Stranger Things, it is one of those properties that very much deals in nostalgia, 1980s nostalgia. And I'm just excited for this. Aaron, do you have any excitement for Paper Girls whatsoever?
I do. Actually, I watched the trailer. I'm pretty excited. I do love Ali Wong. She's hilarious. So I'm excited to see her in another acting role because she was in several movies that I just thought she did a fantastic job on both the dramatic and the comedic side. When you said that your excitement levels are high for the show, like give me a range. Are we talking like Snoop Dogg, or are we talking
Wiz Khalifa?
Wiz Khalifa.
Are we talking Snoop Dogg, or are we talking Mother Teresa? Which one? How high are we here?
Yeah.
I would say I am like, who's someone that like smokes weed pretty often and we know it? I'm like Seth Rogen. Like I'm pretty high on it, but I'm not like, that's not my entire personality. You know what I mean? So and speaking of Seth Rogen, he's the producer on The Boys, which is also an Amazon Prime property. Look, connections. We've got him, people.
Wait, he is?
Yes, he's one of the showrunners.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. You know who'd be cool to smoke weed with?
Who's that?
Jason Momoa.
Well, okay. You just incriminated yourself because I was gonna say, maybe not admit that live on the show, but that's fine. I agree. Khal Drago.
Wait, admit what?
You said who would be fun to smoke weed with. Is weed legal in Tennessee?
First off, I cannot smoke weed, and I don't. I just said it would be cool to do it. I never said, "You know what? I'm smoking weed right now.
You know
I
what?
would love just to I would like to invite Jason Momoa to join me on this blunt that I'm smoking right at this moment."
Now you're Darth
You
Vader
know?
smoking a
Now
blunt.
Darth Vader. That'd be a dope, like, smoking apparatus. Anyways,
Anyway,
pardon the pun.
yes,
I don't
I'm
smoke weed. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
yeah, nothing wrong with it at all. And actually, neither do I. I totally could because I'm not in the army, but I just don't because I've had a bad experience every time, guys. Someone help me.
I have a year and a half. There, you think that I'm gonna screw that up before I get retirement?
Fair enough. Fair
No,
enough.
no. Okay. So our next bit of nose and newts is Sam Raimi explains. I'm leaving that in there. Sam Raimi explains how John Krasinski ended up as Mr. Fantastic and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or as I like to call it, Doctor Strange in the Mom.
In your mom.
Uh, so it wasn't a surprise to Chris and I because we got spoiled on Twitter, as many people
Boo.
did, that John Krasinski was fan casted as Mr. Fantastic, which everybody's been wanting. They've been wanting him and his wife to be, Mr.
Emily
Sue
Blunt.
Storm and Mr. Fantastic. Emily, I know what her name is. I was just referring to him as a whatever, man. This casting that fans have been wanting to see for years, and they finally got it. But the things played out in a way that no one really expected.
He got string
Pool noodle
cheesed.
wise, he got pool noodled. Straight up murdered by Wanda Scarlet Witch. So director Sam Raimi recently opened up about how Krasinski ended up in the film playing this character, and he shared during the film's audio commentary, "It's so funny that Kevin Feige cast John because the fans had a dream of who the perfect Reed Richards would be, and because this is an alternate universe, I think Kevin said, let's make that dream come true. I've always really enjoyed all of his performances, and so with Raimi pointing out that they cast Krasinski in the role because this was an alternate universe, there's a good chance that we won't see Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic again."
I would love to have been a fly on the wall to hear Kevin go, let's fuck with our fans. Let's do this fan cast that they all want, and then just murder him in the worst possible way in one of the biggest movies of the year. I just think that's hilarious. We both wanted John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic,
Mhm.
and I still find it hilarious the way he dies in the movie. It's just like they did not give a shit about what we wanted. They literally just wanted to.
That was the best way they could have done it, and also the worst way they could have done it.
Mhm.
They woke up and chose violence when they wrote those scenes out.
Yeah,
But for me, like seeing the stills of John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, like seeing him now, to be honest, I don't think he's a good fit.
I think that was
I think there
a
are
lot of
better
people. A lot of people were thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I think that there are better like performers that would do a great job of being like a Mr. Fantastic, esque character. But like again, seeing the stills and seeing the pictures of him. Again, it's just I'm glad we saw it. I'm glad that it proves that Marvel and Disney are listening to the fans, which is obviously an amazing feeling to know at the end of the day. But it's also fun to know that they can have fun with us as the fans. So I think that that's such a great thing to experience
Right.
as a fan, knowing that they're out there listening. But again, also getting to see somebody and it's like, okay, maybe they already know, like, hey, if we do a Mr. Fantastic Four movie, we will not be using him because we don't think he's a good fit. But if we can have fun with it and show people that he's not necessarily a good fit, but still give them what they want, then we can all move on and they won't scream and cry about it later on down the road.
That's right. Yeah. Aaron, are you familiar with the term soft launch?
Yes.
That was like Marvel doing a soft launch for the
Yes.
fans. Like it's like, hey,
Yes.
everyone, look. I mean, it's a Fantastic Four, and it's John Krasinski, and he says he has kids, and he's using a Doctor Doom teleporter, but he's dead, and he's dead.
Yeah. So it's out there.
It's out there, and we have
It's out there.
we have the scenes, and I think he does a pretty
Yeah.
good job overall. He's obviously by himself. Wherever he's recording, he is not around anyone else. Like even when he's talking to Wanda, it's like so obvious that they brought him in for maybe a day to film, and they put him on they
Mhm.
put him in the suit, and he was just talking to maybe a stunt double or to no one. Maybe
A tennis ball on the end of a stick.
that's right. Yeah. And I think it's a fun inclusion, like you said. But I'm fine. I've learned to just put my trust in the MCU and to Kevin Feige because they often figure out a way to do the right thing when it comes to the character, regardless of whether I think it's a good casting in the beginning. So
I think that I'm brainstorming now, and with how well Feige has been taking care of us, we might need to create an end of the year award for, call it the Feige.
The Kevin Feige Casting Award.
Yes.
Casting of the year. That's the last call, everybody. Everybody who's listening, every
Yeah.
year Aaron and I do the last call awards at the end of the year. It's kind of like our Academy Award. So yeah, I'm really into those like silly award nominations. So I think put that in your head canon for later so that we can include that.
The Kevin Feige fan cast of the year.
That's right. I love it.
Anyways, moving on to our next piece of news and notes, not newts and noses.
Newts and
The
noses.
Ghostbusters Afterlife movie officially gets a sequel announced. 2023, everybody. So, Chris, you know how much I absolutely adored Ghostbusters Afterlife. You know how much I love the series. You know how much I love everything about it, except for a specific remake. Moving on. So there's a new Ghostbusters film in development that will serve as a sequel to Afterlife. It's being developed under the working title Firehouse.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Yeah,
Huh?
I wonder why.
Yeah. Well, a good code word. It's like calling Top Gun Maverick Jet.
Top Gun plane.
Code name Sky.
Top Gun flying.
So this flying cruise.
Yeah, cruise. That's good.
This new installment is scheduled to release on December 20th, 2023. So not that long, not that far, but a good time to wait. It'll be set in New York City, shocker, at the iconic headquarters of the original Ghostbusters film, which was a firehouse.
Which was a firehouse. Yeah, we're making connections here, everybody.
Weird. Okay, so Jason Reitman is returning to direct. Good. He previously shared, the last time we saw Ecto 1, it was driving back into Manhattan, the home of the Ghostbusters. That's where our story begins. The code name is Firehouse. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Gil Keenan is also
Jason,
returning to write the script. Yeah, we get it.
It's almost like he's looking at us going, do you guys understand the reference? It's called Firehouse. Do you understand?
He's in front of a big whiteboard at the room, the pitch room, and he's like, so currently there are no other details other than to share, but go back and listen to our review of Ghostbusters Afterlife, which we did episode 61 of the Oblivion Bar podcast. So we both loved the movie, some of us more than others. But yeah, go check out our review of it. It's such, and if you haven't seen it yet, like, you're missing out. Here's my problem that I'm trying to deal with right now is there is a very special steelbook case that was only released in Japan, and I'm trying to get it off of eBay, and it's so expensive. I've never wanted a steel case more than the Japanese steelbook. It's like $60 to $90 just for a steelbook.
Oh wow.
So
yeah, and a lot of times too with those DVDs or Blu-rays from other countries, they don't come localized. Is that what it's called? Where like you can't use.
They're region locked, so you'll have like European region, Asia region, and yeah, so North America, and yeah, it can become a hassle, like, but it is what it is. If you love something, don't be afraid to go a little bit extra.
That's right. Excitement for this. Like, is there any speculation as far as like what you want from this new sequel? Is like anything off the top of your head? I think the only thing that I would really want is I want McKenna Grace back as the little what's his name? Who's
Spengler?
Yes, yeah, little Spengler. I really want her back in the franchise. But again, if you remember back when we talked about Ghostbusters Afterlife, she admitted that she was taking a little bit of a break from acting. So maybe this is the next movie she does when she comes back. That would be great. But
I think they would be at a complete loss if they did not bring her back. Hell, even bring back Podcast. Podcast was one of my favorite
Paul Rudd,
characters. Paul Rudd, definitely him too as well.
What was his name again? It's like 2 G's. It was 2 G names. Gilbert,
I don't
Gilbertson or something like that. I don't even know.
Yeah, he was great. But yeah, I would love to see a team up of Podcast, the young Spengler, and have him.
Yeah, Finn Wolfman from Stranger Things is on there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Have them just be like a family owned and operated team. Because I think there was some romantic. I wonder if the romance would keep up between their parents.
I think that would be awesome. I like the fact that
Yeah.
I'm generally not a fan. Gary Gooberson is his name. Gary Gruberson.
Yeah, Gruberson. Yeah.
And then Carrie Coon obviously as the mother as well. So yeah, I would love to see that love continue because I think it kind of formed organically in the film. And maybe this is an unpopular opinion, and tell me if you think that this is a bad idea, Aaron. I just don't want to see the original Ghostbusters there again. I think they did such a great send off with the last one. Unless they bring back, don't bring back Bill Murray. Obviously, you can't bring back Spangler. Don't bring back Dan Aykroyd. And then what's the name of the other guy?
Well, yeah, because Ernie Hudson
Yeah.
had that meeting with Janine, and so
Yep.
what they do need to bring back Janine, and they need to bring back Ernie Hudson as Winston Zeddemore,
Yeah.
and basically have him kind of be like the mentor of this new generation. Like, again, very much following in the same light as Ghostbusters Extreme.
Yeah.
You know, where in that show, I believe it was Spangler
It's
who
Spangler in
was
the
kind of
cartoon.
who was like the mentor of that team. So very much following that same kind of formula, which I think is going to be awesome. I mean, have them fight a little bit darker of a battle, have them kind of, I don't know, like I there's so much potential with this film. So I'm excited for it.
Absolutely. Well, Aaron, I think that'll do it for our news and notes this week. We're going to go ahead and get into this interview with Christian Ward. Excited to share this with everyone here. Before we get over to that interview, though, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.